Hi everyone, in today's video we're going to be discussing how to line up letters and find the correct proportions. Let's take a look at the first question. In the diagram below of right triangle AED, line BC is parallel to line DE. Let's mark that in the diagram. Line BC is parallel to line DE. Which statement is always true? Now, if you notice, we have two triangles here. We have triangle ABC, the smaller triangle, and we have the big triangle, triangle ADE. So it's important to line up the letters. If you notice, they already have right angles in both triangles, and because we have parallel lines BC and DE, we also have corresponding angles, which means these two triangles are similar by the angle-angle theorem. So if we line up the letters ABC, ADE, we just have to check which proportion is true. So take a moment right now, pause the video, and decide which proportions are true. The answer is choice 2. Let's take a look as to why. AB over AD, they correspond to each other, is equal to BC over DE. That is correct. None of the other proportions line up correctly. So for these types of questions, please make sure you line up your letters and see if the lines correspond to one another. Let's look at this next question. In the diagram below, line XS and line YR intersect at Z. Segments XY and RS are drawn perpendicular to YR to form triangles XYZ and SRZ. Which statement is always true? So there's a few things that we have to do for this question. We should notice that we see this word perpendicular, which means we do have right angles. So XY and RS are perpendicular to line YR, which means they form 90-degree angles here. Also, you should notice that we have an X, which means we have vertical angles as well. And again, these two triangles are similar by the angle-angle theorem, which means our sides are in proportion. So what we're going to do is we're going to line up our letters, X, Y, Z, and S, R, Z. And it actually tells us, which is nice in the question. So we have to figure out which statements is always true. Well, because we know that these are similar triangles, we know that the two triangles are not congruent and the sides are not congruent. So what we know is that the sides have to be in proportion because we have similar triangles. So let's check answer 4. XY corresponds to SR, that's true, is equal to YZ corresponds to RZ. That is true. The sides are in proportion. Number 1 can't be the answer because if I cross multiplied, XY times SR is not true. That's not equal to XZ times RC. Remember, when you cross multiply, it would be XY times RZ is equal to SR times YZ. Remember, in a proportion, the cross products are equal, but number 1 is not true. Let's look at this next diagram. As shown in the diagram below, line AB and line CD intersect at E, and line AC is parallel to line BD. I'll mark that in my diagram. Given triangle AEC is similar, remember this means similar, to triangle BED, which equation is true? Now, because we know the two triangles are similar, we have alternate interior angles here, we have vertical angles here, so the two triangles would be similar via the angle-angle method. So we know that the sides have to be in proportion. So just like the last few questions, we're going to line up our letters, AEC, BED. Pause the video now to figure out which proportion is true. Your answer is going to be choice 2. Let's see why. AE corresponds to BE. That's equal to AC corresponds to BD. None of the other proportions are set up correctly. Let's look at this next question. Given right triangle ABC with right angle at C, the measure of angle B is 61. Given right triangle RST with a right angle at T, the measure of angle R is equal to 29 degrees. Which proportion in relation to triangle ABC and RST is not correct? So this is a not question, so I'm looking for the one that's not true. I see my two triangles, I'm going to line them up. A, B, C, R, S, T. If we notice, remember angles in a triangle add up to 180. So if I add 90 plus 29 and subtract it from 180, I'm going to get 61 here. Same goes for the other triangle, 61 plus 90. Subtract that from 180, I'm going to get 29. So as you can see, the angles are all congruent, which means we do have a similar triangle. So that's why we can line up our letters and figure out which proportion is not true. Pause the video now and look for the one that's not true. The answer is going to be choice 1. AB corresponds to RS, but then it goes RT corresponds to AC. It's in the wrong order. This would have to be flip-flopped. If we're starting with AB over RS, we have to then go AC over RT. It has to be in the same starting place. If you then look choice 2, BC over ST, AB over RS, that is true. Choice 3, BC over ST is equal to AC over RT, that's also true. And lastly, AB over AC is equal to RS over RT, that's also true. For these questions, please make sure you line up your letters to check your proportions.